Here we go, the part you've been waiting for. Okay, if we look at our layers, we notice that we have one rest state. When we turn that off, we can see what the buttons will look like in the hover state. This is the hover state. This is the rest state. Okay, let's do a couple things. Let's get this out of our way, making sure that rest is selected. You can tell it's highlighted. Now, the first thing we're going to do is make sure that the snap is on. So go to View, go down to Snap to, and make sure Guides and Grids are both checked. If you don't have the Guides and Grids checked, this is not going to work out for you. Very critical. Now, the second thing, let's get our Guides and Grids back. Okay, so what we're going to do is drag some guides from the ruler. Okay, we're going to drag them down and put them where they need to be. If you don't have your ruler, you can hit Command R and it'll toggle the ruler back and forth. Okay, let's do this. Let's grab a guide, drag it down, and put it right on the top of our nav bar. Second one on the bottom of our nav bar. Notice how they snap where they need to be. Then the next one will be where we're going to slice all the way across. We are going to slice one long 960 pixel wide slice. And so we'll put it at another one at the bottom. And then we are going to drag another one right above the footer. So we're going to have a slice for the header, a slice across the background, and a slice for the footer. And now we got to put slice guides in between the various buttons. So I'm going to put one right between, on the line between home and history. Next one will be between history and biography. Next one between biography and gallery. Next one between gallery and links. And the next one between links and contact. So if I got rid of if I hit Command quotation, I can see where my guides are going to be. Now we're going to use these guides to slice and dice. So let's do that right now. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so I can see what's going on. Whoa, smaller. The way I'm doing this is I'm holding my Shift command and dragging to the left will make it smaller. Space command to the right will make it bigger. I'm going to move it smaller so that I can see what's going on. Then I'm going to go underneath my crop tool. Here's a crop tool. And you'll see there are two slice tools. One's a slice tool, one's a slice select tool. Make sure you have the select tool. We'll use the other one later. And the first thing I'm going to do is draw my first slice around my header. You can see that it now has a blue number up here telling me that that's my first slice. Now I'm going to zoom in because this can easily go awry. The next one, I'm going to start at the lower right and drag and create my next slice. Make sure it's on the guides. If it's not on the guides, it's not going to work for you. Okay, and then my next one, I'm going to start in the lower right. Next one, lower right, drag it towards the upper left. The next one will be the gallery. I'm going to drag it from lower right. Uh-oh, that's not exactly right. So I can move that guide to where it needs to be. It has to be precise. Okay, I'm going to zoom in with my space command and make sure that slice is exactly where it needs to be on that guide. And the bottom one is good. Okay, let's move over. See why it is so critical to get in here and make sure they are exactly. If you cut them up and they're not on the guides, it'll look like garbage. Okay, so let's go do the next one. Starting at the lower left. Go up. Make sure they're on the guides. They are that time. Holding the space, I can move it over and do my next slice. Generally, you can disregard those numbers. Whoa. There. So you can see they are all on the guides. Sometimes that can be a real chore. Okay, space command, and I can click out, holding my space command and holding down option, I guess, on a Mac. I don't know. This is a Windows. I'm going to see the whole thing. My next slice is going to be my background image. So I'm going to go down here, all the way across. It'll snap boop, right in place. And then the last one is going to be the footer. Making sure that it is exactly where it needs to be. Okay, so we have a one slice going to be the header, and then there are going to be other slices for the what state is this? This is the rest state. Make sure that your rest layer is selected. Now, are we ready? No, we're not ready. We now have to go to the Slice Select tool. Underneath the Slice tool, there's a tool called Slice Select. And I'm going to double click on my header graphic. And look, I can name this. I'm going to call this header. You can disregard the rest. If you are a good webmaster, you should probably never ever use these. All right. Then I'm going to click this home. Now remember, this is the home rest. So I'm going to double click inside that slice, and I am going to call it home underscore rest. There. That means that that will be the image in the rest state. I'm just going to copy this. Okay. Then I double click the history. I'm going to call it history underscore rest. Then I'll do the biography likewise. No spaces or special characters. Oops. I can double click it again and put my rest. Very critical there. It'll help you when you're composing your page. Gallery. Rest. Links. Rest. Contact. Rest. Underscore is not a special character. Then I'm going to double click my slice that's going to go all the way across. I'm going to call it BG. Then I'm going to go down and do the footer. Notice that I do not have to put hover or rest because these are not going to hover. They're just going to be background or header or footer graphics. Okay. Now that I have all these slices named, if I have to rename them, I just have to go up, double click, and I get the graphic name once again. Now here's the fun part. If I go to File, Save for Web, I get this. I'm going to make sure that they are going to save as JPEGs and optimized, and I think I'll crank up the quality to 100. Then I see my slices. It's ready to go. I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to go to my desktop, and I am going to create a new directory or new folder. I'm going to call it Fremont site. That'll be my root folder. Oops. And then I am going to save. Now, what's peculiar about this is that when it creates these graphics, let's go to my desktop and look at Fremont site. It created a directory inside my Fremont site. Notice I did not create this on my own. Photoshop did it for me. And inside, I can see all my buttons. These are all my history rest, the home rest, contact rest, biography rest, BG, and a few extra things that really just showed up. You can delete those if you want. Just save the ones that you named. Notice this is Fremont 8 and Fremont 10. That's because we didn't name those, because we don't need them. All right, so I'm going to close that for now. Then I'm going to go back to my beautiful graphic, look at the layers, and now I'm going to turn off the hover, the rest, go down, highlight the hover, and now the ones that are going to change, I'm going to rename. With my slice selection tool, I don't have to rename the header because that's what it's going to be. But here, this is going to be my home hover. Notice we're just renaming that slice. Home hover. I'm going to click this history, change this to hover. I'm just going to copy that so I don't have to keep typing. Save you some time. Biography. This is going to be my biography hover. My gallery hover. My links hover. And my contact hover. Now that those slices are renamed, I don't have to rename my header, don't have to rename my background, and I do not have to rename my footer. Now I'm going to go up to File, Save for the Web, very high, JPEG, and I'm going to save. Now, if you really wanted to, you could go down to the slices here, and you can pick all user slices. Those are the slices that you named. That's why that you had that Fremont 8 and that Fremont 10. That's because we didn't do that before. Not a big deal. Okay, now this is critical. You might think that you have to put these, you have to save these in the images site, but or directory. That is incorrect. Remember, Photoshop created that images directory when you tried to save them to the root. So these you save to the root, and Photoshop will automatically put them into images. If you were to save them in your images directory, you would have an images directory inside your images directory, and things would go bad from there. Okay, so now that I'm at the root site, I am going to hit save. It's going to ask me, do I want to overwrite the header, background, and footer? Well, you know what? those didn't change. I'm just going to replace them, or you can not replace them.